some girls came up to me the other day on the street. You're Barbie's mother. Oh my God. How does it feel to be Barbie's mother? It feels really good. Yeah. She the words that Greta wrote, Greta and Noah, wrote were just, there was no way to screw them up. They were just brilliant, and they had so much emotion just in it. You I felt like I didn't have to do anything, but just be there. Just be. Most of my work, almost all of my work, was with Margot, and it was just a complete joy to be with her, who does not have a false note either. She is just, she's just right there always, and I feel like that's true of all your work, because I'm a huge fan. As I've told you. I really am. And but I did some research on this woman, Ruth, who I was going to play, and she was quite an interesting person, because aside from creating the Barbie, because that's the story has been told, her daughter, whose name is Barbara, she named it after her daughter, Barbara. By the way, her son was named Kenneth. She got Ken, so I guess she thought a lot about him. But she was the co-owner of Mattel, but apparently, according to all reports, she was the brains behind the operation. And I think that, women can do it ethic is so completely in this movie. It's just so empowering in every way. It's kind of obvious, but it just is. And aside from Mattel and all that, she, I say at one point in the movie, I had a mastectomy, and she had a double mastectomy, and when she was healed, she realized there's nothing you could do at that time in our culture, in our world, to make your breasts look like they were real. They were just flat. And so she created the first breast prosthesis. And it's still sold today. It's a bra. It's a bra for people who've had their breasts removed. And she made the first one. And and she went on. She was already, she liked being in the spotlight, I guess, and she thought it was a very important message to tell people about. And I saw somewhere that she was on some show and she opened her shirt and, you see, how does it look? It was like she was showing that bra that she made, and she was just an amazing person. And what else to say? I didn't have Barbies, but my daughters had Barbies, and every one of their Barbies was a weird Barbie, because eventually, they loved playing with them like they were gorgeous, but they also loved taking their heads off, filling them with water, and throwing them around in the bathtub, and pulling their hair, and then fix their hair, Mom. Well, make it better. I said, okay, well, then don't pull it out every time. I'll do my best. Yeah, but Barbies were huge in our house. We had Barbie shows where they would everybody has to sit there, and anybody who was at the house had to sit around while my two girls came out and did some really stupid show, with their Barbies. But it was just so wonderful. And I just want to say one thing about, the movie being for everyone, not just women and girls, is that the other day I was hiking in the park, and I live around the corner from a canyon, and this man was sitting on the trunk of his car, which was open, putting on his shoes, like he had just done a hike, and he waved to me, and he said, "I really loved you in Barbie. I know that movie's not for me, but I just have to say it wasn't made for me." But I said, "Of course it was made for you. It was made for everybody. It was made for everyone." And it was like there are men who are just love the movie, and it's hard for them to say it. But man, I've seen more men cry over that movie than women, I think. Yeah. Anyways, I'm just thrilled that I'm a part of it.
Teenage boys loved Ruth. That was like, I was always like, they're gonna love the beach battle, they're gonna love the fart jokes, before we took out that fart joke, but whatever. I was like, I thought I knew the things and they all, like, not obviously all, but like the majority, and very specifically that demographic, teenage young boys loved Ruth. They'd always be like, I love the scene with Ruth, I love when Ruth did this. Yeah, it was really interesting. So yeah, the movie is for everyone.
They loved Ruth.
Sorry, I was waiting this whole time. Thank you. Okay, so obviously you can't yell at Margot. You can't. And staring at her, and as she would like truly cry, and I just have to like double down and just really ruin her. It hurt, but it's necessary to give that different point of view. And I know many people that, like, when you hear Barbie, like, what is this gonna do? But yeah, I mean, growing up, I had the big dream house, and I just put Monster High dolls in there because I was that kid. I had Monster High dolls. But yeah, I mean, especially me, who obviously doesn't look like stereotypical Barbie. I don't have blonde hair and blue eyes and whatever. Growing up, it's like, obviously now they have, thankfully.
I mean, like you said, we're beyond ecstatic that we got 8 Academy Award nominations. I mean, that's so wild. And already we set out to do something that would shift culture, affect culture, or just make some sort of impact. And it's already done that and some, like way more than we ever dreamed it would. And that is truly the biggest reward that could come out of all of this. And I'm so obviously ecstatic for everyone getting the nods that they've had is just incredible. And the Best Picture nod, obviously I think Greta should be nominated as a director, because what she did is it's like a once in a career, once in a lifetime thing. What she pulled off, it really is. But it's been an incredible year, and like for all the films, and there's no way to feel sad when you know you're this blessed.
I'm really glad she got the screenplay nomination with Noah too. It's just so well deserved.
It's also, I don't know, like all things to do with Barbie, it's not really about, I don't know, I just suspect it's bigger than us. It's bigger than this movie. It's bigger than our industry. I don't know, when people feel that way, I think they're feeling it for themselves and for the world that they're in, as opposed to this specific thing.
Well, looking around at all the people dressed in pink, it's definitely a cultural movement more than anything, and that's just everything that you could have wished for and more, I imagine. Can any of you, just to close out, offer some of the best fan reaction or even family reactions that you've had? Something that really moved you?
I remember when the movie first came out, I snuck into a theater with my brother, just to kind of see, similar to you in the bathroom, listening to what people have to say. I just wanted to see everyone's live reaction. So I just found like an empty seat, and there was this girl in front of me, and she was just watching the movie, and I believe it was the part it was either your monologue or when I was screaming at something. It was like a big part of the movie, and I was just watching her watch the movie, and I could just tell she was so touched by it. and she was like in her own little land, and she was dressed in pink, and she had like the prettiest blonde hair, and I was like, okay, I've been staring at this random girl for a little bit, I should probably go. So I just remember like I tapped on her shoulder, I said, you look so beautiful, and she was like so confused, like where did I just like spawn from, and how long have I been there, and that whole thing. But it was just wonderful to watch her and have it soak in for the first time for her, and it was just a really nice moment. She was so confused, but you know, those little moments is what I feel like means so much to me and everyone who's part of this film. It's just how it affected the people individually. And I also remember all of my guy friends from high school. I didn't know how the hell they were going to respond to this movie, but they loved it, and they came and watched it with me, and they wore pink, and they asked their sister for their pink whatever, and they were fully in it, and I was like, mad respect for you, damn. But they loved it, and then, you know, drove home listening to Ice Spice's song, and it was great.
All of your nominations so well deserved. Give it up for Barbie.